Okay, let's talk about China. A brand new economic blueprint is starting to take shape. And no, this isn't about just building more factories or sprawling cities. We're talking about something way more interesting. Engineering entirely new multi-billion-dollar consumer markets almost from scratch. So the big question is, how on earth are they pulling this off? Let's dive right in.
So if you're an investor, if you're a business leader looking at China, this is the question you should be asking, right? How is it possible to just engineer 13 brand new billion-dollar markets out of thin air? I mean, we're not talking about your typical government stimulus here. The answer is actually a lot more creative and, frankly, a lot smarter.
Well, it's all about a fundamental shift in thinking. It's about looking at a totally overlooked space, like the forgotten area under a highway, and not seeing an eyesore, but seeing a potential gold mine, a vibrant community park, a new place for people to spend time and money. That right there, that's the mindset shift. And today we're going to give you the treasure map to understand exactly how this works.
All right, Section 1. Let's get into the blueprint itself. This isn't just some vague idea, This is a real strategic plan laid out by 6 major government departments, and its goal is huge: to completely reshape China's consumer landscape.
Just look at the numbers here. The sheer scale of this is mind-boggling. The plan is targeting 3 massive sectors, each worth trillions of yuan. We're talking hundreds of billions of US dollars. Think products for the elderly, smart cars, consumer electronics, the big stuff. But then you've got these 10 hotspots. Each one is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity in itself, covering everything from the pet industry to something they call national trend fashion. And that's basically a cool modern spin on traditional Chinese culture. The ambition here is just wow. So, what's the big idea behind all this? It boils down to one core philosophy: precision matching. It's a move away from the old one-size-fits-all mass production. Instead, it's all about creating products and services that hyper-specifically match the real needs of different groups of people. I love this analogy. Think of it like a personal shopper, but for the entire economy. It's that targeted. Okay, let's move on to our first major stop on this map. We're talking about the smart and seamless future, where technology meets culture. And this is where things get really interesting, where we go from big numbers on a page to a vision of the future that's, well, it's just really cool. So, a big part of this vision is completely reinventing cultural spaces. The government is pushing hard for digital, cloud-based museums. They want to create these incredible immersive experiences, just like what you're seeing here, that use tech to make history and art come alive in ways that are just absolutely breathtaking.
But here's the reality check. And for investors, this is the really exciting part. If you look at the data from just a couple of years ago, globally, less than a quarter of museums even had online exhibitions. So you've got this huge, ambitious vision from China on one hand and the current reality of digital infrastructure on the other. That huge gap? That's not a problem. That's a massive flashing sign pointing to a market that is just waiting to be created.
Exactly. I mean, this is the whole point. That gap, that is the opportunity. It's a direct invitation for digital platform builders, for AR and VR content creators, for basically the entire tech ecosystem that can help bring these cultural institutions into the future.
And this focus on smart tech isn't just for museums. It's about solving real, everyday frustrations for consumers. Remember that space under the highway we talked about? Well, look at this. They built a fully automated robotic parking garage there. And get this, it increased parking capacity by almost 140%. This is precision matching in action, using smart solutions to fix a problem everyone hates. All right, next up, the plan really zooms in on people, and specifically 2 massive demographics that honestly have been pretty overlooked until now. China's huge senior population, and on the other end of the spectrum, its next generation. Take a look at that number, 300 million. That's how many people in China are over the age of 60. We're not just talking about a demographic group here. We are talking about an emerging economic superpower. They call it the silver economy, and it is absolutely enormous. So, what does this mean? Well, the government is basically putting out a call for new businesses and services to cater specifically to this group. Think wellness tourism that brings in traditional medicine. Think customized travel that's all about health and well-being. This is a huge step away from the old, generic bus tours. If you're a provider of high-quality, specialized services, this market is completely wide open for you.
Okay, now let's flip to the other side, the next generation. The plan has this really fascinating playbook for them based on something called industrial tourism. The idea is simple, but brilliant.
turn factories into engaging educational experiences. So a company can use smart design to create these cool behind-the-scenes tours for schools and families, and just like that, their production line becomes a whole new way to make money. Okay, section 4. Let's talk about culture as a global brand. This is all about how China is planning to take its incredible cultural heritage and turn it into a powerhouse for global exports.
And the strategy they're using is it's brilliant. It's all about creating a seamless pipeline, right? From ancient heritage straight to modern consumer spending. So step 1, take traditional crafts and give them a modern makeover, turning them into these national trend products that younger people love. Step 2, make it super easy for tourists from all over the world to buy them, with simple duty-free shopping and tax refunds. It connects cultural curiosity directly to cash registers.
You know, navigating these kinds of massive shifts, it really takes some deep insight. It's like the quote says, "Know China to do better business." Because having those expert insights on trade and investment, it's going to save you so much time and money. It's absolutely crucial. So with all that in mind, let's put the final pieces together and build our investment playbook.
All right, this is the final section, your China investment playbook. Let's get down to brass tacks. We've looked at the government's map, so now where do you actually place your bets?
This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? It connects the dots perfectly. So, the policy says smart museums. That means a huge opportunity for digital platform providers and AR/VR creators. The policy says wellness tourism. That's a green light for high-end tour operators and health services. Industrial study tours. That's your cue if you're in edutainment. You see, every single point on this policy map leads directly to a treasure chest of opportunity.
And one last thing, don't forget about the simple stuff, the foundational infrastructure. I mean, the plan specifically mentions things like shared wheelchairs and strollers in public spots. Now that might sound like a small detail, but it's a piece of China's sharing economy, which is worth something like $500 billion. It's a market that's growing like crazy, but is still really underserved. It's the perfect example of a huge opportunity that's just hiding in plain sight.
So, there you have it. The government has literally published a treasure map. It's pointing directly to all the spots where it's going to actively encourage economic growth. So the only real question left for you is, now that you have the map, where are you going to start digging?
Look, this channel will bring you the practical knowledge you need to navigate business, investment, culture, economic trends, and even communication tips when you're doing trades with China. So please press that like button and subscribe now for more actionable insights and win-win solutions. You really don't want to miss the possibility to understand and make money in trades with China.